Enzo. Oh, this is probably too long for a voice note.
Hey Claire, I know. Save it for the podcast.
Your space for an unfiltered and candid conversation.
Skip the small talk and dive in deep.
Hey, he's Enzo.
And she's Claire.
And this is Too Long for a Voice Note.
Hello.
Welcome
everyone.
Episode 6.
Episode 6. How crazy it is. We managed to get to this point.
I'm so excited.
Me too. How have it been, Claire?
All good. We were just going to say that at the beginning, this is episode 6, so we're going to have a short, call it a mid-season break.
Mid-season break, I like that.
Enzo is going back to Venezuela, Caracas. I'm going to Japan.
Yes, so excited.
So we're having a little bit of a break, which is it's lucky that we're going away at the same time.
It's true.
Because you won't miss out on episodes.
We didn't plan it.
We actually didn't.
So it was going to work out perfectly.
But there you go. So we'll probably be back.
What, July?
Yeah.
End of June, July.
Yeah, end of June.
End of June. So you're going to have enough time to kind of like rest from us.
Exactly.
And also like catch up with the episodes.
Yeah.
And also like, we have like way more episodes from before, so you can catch up with them if you haven't listened yet or check them out. Like,
and then we'll be back. So we're not calling it the end of the season. We're calling it a mid-season break.
I like that.
So that's that basically.
Yeah. So thank you guys for thank you guys. Bye.
Exactly. That's it. That's episode 6.
But yeah, I think it's good. I think I'm excited for like a little break to kind of recharge. I think it's good to kind of like have a space to kind of like regroup ideas, recharge, and come back stronger.
And I think we're always looking for ways to expand the team. So if you're watching and you know anybody who might be interested,
please,
then put them in contact with us.
I think that we'll love that. Yeah, if you want to help us with like social media or like filming days, actually it's a great thing. I think we're in this process of expanding.
Definitely.
So if you know anyone that will be into like some portfolio for like portfolio of like podcast production, like this is the place.
Exactly. Well, how was your week, love?
It's been good.
What's new? Tell me something that I don't know.
What's new? Well, I was actually watching a new series, thinking about like because I think the last time you asked me, I was like, actually, I'm not watching anything.
True.
So now, actually, I finished already, so I'm not watching anything again. But I watched Baby Reindeer.
Oh, you were telling me about this.
I think you will like the series.
Yeah?
I think it's a bit you kind of like I think because you like I mean, this is not crime, but I think you like this type of like things.
I like a murder, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, it's a really, really good. I'm really surprised. Shock. It was a shock and surprise at the same time. Shock prize about the series. Really, really, really good.
What's the premise of it?
So basically, it's about like this guy has a stalker. So
a guy has a stalker.
Yeah. So that's. Basically, there's a premise. There's a stalker and there's a guy and how everything like unfolds.
Oh.
What I found really interesting is like how these stories are never told, not normally from a guy's perspective. So basically, he is the victim. And normally, like women are the victims of like a stalker or like a rapist or things like that. This time around, I find it interesting because it's told from like a male perspective, and you see struggles even like with the police and things like that, and how like maybe when it's a man suffering. I mean, well, to be honest, also for women, if a woman, it's being like stalked or abused, you know how difficult it is for them to prove that. But I think for men, that layer of like coming clean, let's say, and go to ask for help in a way, I think that's interestingly like showing the show. That's one thing, but that's a really good show. It's really good acting, and I think the most shocking thing about it is like it's not only a real story,
really,
but the actor is actually the guy who was stalked.
Oh,
so he's an actor himself.
So this
is his story. Basically, he wrote it and did the show.
Interesting.
And that's crazy because when I watched I was looking, I was like, I don't know this actor. I was looking for an interview with him on YouTube, and there's an interview like in a British show.
Okay.
So it was an interview with him here in like one of these morning shows, and when he was telling that, it was his story.
Wow.
And he was acting his own story. I was like, what?
Okay,
it's
I really want to watch this.
You need to watch, and the acting. I mean, the stalker, which is the woman, that actress, she's fucking amazing. I'm sure she's gonna win like Golden Globes or something. It's a really good show, and it's like I felt like you're gonna feel moments like you're gonna feel like crying, or you're gonna be very like I don't know. It's a really good.
Wow.
It's a stalking show, but I think the way that it's done is really interesting. I would like you to watch it because
Great
I think it has like a lot of like psychological layers to go in there. Yeah, so that's
I'll
been
definitely give
my
that a watch.
main-
What a
yeah.
good recommendation.
And it's
Thank you.
quick to watch. It's like
Okay.
30-40 minutes episodes.
Okay.
Like you watch them quick.
Wow.
Really good.
And the fact that
Actually,
he wrote it and it's his story as well. How
it's like
fascinating.
also scary.
Okay.
Imagine having like a fucking stalker. That sounds like really weird and a bit like a helpless place to be. I feel. Yeah.
Listened to a podcast episode actually about it was a woman who had a male stalker. I'm just wondering if the mic's a little bit close. Sorry guys if I've been like, I just got scared by the mic. It's like what's
The mic is a stalker now.
That's like a bee out of like the corner of my eye. She was being stalked. She was actually quite a famous journalist. I think she was Scottish, and she started getting stalked by her neighbour. Imagine he had a partner or a wife, but he became obsessed with her because she was quite well known at the time. I have to try to find that podcast episode and send it to you,
please.
But like she literally couldn't do anything, and at one point she wakes up in the middle of the night and he's standing over her. He's broken into the house. It's just terrifying. And once again she talks about the police and not being believed, and he was sending her lots of stuff and
because the thing is that with stalkers, like if until they don't do something really like physical to you, it's really difficult to prove anything, which is a bit fucked because it's kind of like, I mean, what about your mental health? What about being abused mentally?
Yeah.
But because it's not physical or it's not a threat,
prove as
it's,
well.
it's very strange. I think the system and like the police system, all of that is a bit complicated and very annoying. I think a lot of things need to be rethink.
Definitely.
That series made me think a lot about like.
Interesting.
Like
I'll definitely put that on the list.
I think you'll like it's easy to watch. It's a bit intense, but
okay.
I like it. But yeah, that's been happening
Thank you
in my
for
week.
that recommendation.
Yeah. So
This time is my topic. Yeah, I'm excited. Okay.
Let's go. I don't know why I'm speaking like this. I think my topic this week is maybe weirdly connected in some angles to your topic last episode, which it was about being a radical optimistic person. So this week I want to talk about limiting beliefs.
Oh, I love that. Very connected.
Very connected. Yeah, very connected. So, and actually, when I was on my way here to record today, and I was listening to Dua Lipa album, I was thinking like, how funny. I think like being a radical optimistic person makes you less limited with your beliefs and like what you think you can achieve. Anyway, we're gonna dive into this a bit more, but it made me think about it. So when you brought the topic, I was like, okay. Before starting, during the week, I actually asked you to think about a few things that you think you maybe not are great at, or maybe things that you think you cannot do, because I wanted to kind of like give you like a bit of time to think about this, because sometimes on the spot it's a bit like, oh, well, not great, or what, blah, blah, blah. So that's why I ask you this, because this topic is about limiting beliefs. And before starting with this, I want to read about limiting beliefs. So, a limiting belief is a thought or a state of mind that you think is the absolute truth and stop you from doing certain things. There's beliefs that don't always have to be about yourself. It could be about the work. It could be about the war. Work ideas, like how you interact with people, etc. Which I was surprised, because I thought like limiting beliefs was about yourself, but it could be about anything. So limiting beliefs, they can change your life, but not always for the better. They create self-awareness that stop you from chasing after your dreams, chasing your dreams, forming healthy relationships, and creating change in any area of your life. So basically, sometimes like limiting beliefs, they can be like an act of defense, a defense mechanism to protect yourself from pain, which was kind of connected to what we were talking before. So it's kind of like your subconscious could remember past negative experience and try to prevent you from hurting yourself again. So this is very connected to like anxiety, like imposter syndrome, to procrastination. So all of this is kind of like wrapped in one big thing of like stopping yourself to doing things to protect yourself.
Okay, interesting.
So what do we think about limiting beliefs?
Very interesting.
Have you heard about this before?
I have.
What's the story about this? What's this personal experience about limiting beliefs?
I kind of view it as well as quite closely linked to self-esteem. for example, you know, you're like, no, you're like, and so it's like, no, we're not going that way.
No, but yeah,
I think it can be viewed as that in a way. It's kind of like a set of beliefs that we have about ourselves that kind of dictates like how worthy we are and how capable we are of like achieving certain things in our life. That's kind of what I take it to mean.
I think it's a bit like that actually. Like I mean, that was the first time I heard about this, but the first time actually like heard for long someone talking about this for long was like I was checking like Queen's Harvey podcast. Queen Harvey, we talked about her before here, is like a rapper, and she's an artist, and she has a podcast as well, which is really interesting. And she was talking with her husband about limiting beliefs and how that can like really block you to your dreams. So limiting beliefs is a lot of like how you limit yourself to achieve your goals and what you want and and how, for example, like you prefer to tell yourself I'm not good at that instead of trying and see if you're good at it. So it's kind of like a set of values that we create for ourselves, that it can be for work or life or about the world as well, about the planet. It's like thinking like, oh no, the world is shit, nothing will get better. Things like that are part of like a set of limiting beliefs. And I was a bit like, and I think especially for creative people, even if you're not creative, but I think for creative people it's like a big thing, because sometimes it's kind of like you think maybe like, oh no, I'm not able to achieve that level of greatness, so you automatically block yourself of being that. And it's kind of like this term is very, I was reading online, it can be a bit not problematic, but it can be a bit of like a controversy around it, because some people, they see it as like very like self-help book type of thing, like kind of like, oh no, you need to believe in yourself, you need to trust yourself, you need to believe in your talents because you can do it if you want. It's all of that, but actually it's very like basically give yourself value, right? No, which
is why I said about self-esteem, I think, because like valuing yourself kind of goes hand in hand with that. Exactly. I think
I do feel like if you want to do something, you can actually do it. If you want to be a doctor, well, you study, you do it, and you will get there. Maybe it doesn't mean you're gonna be the best doctor in the world. No, yes, depends, you know. But I think if you really want to do something,
you can do it.
You can just fucking do it, right? So that's the other side of it. People that say like, no, you have a talent. If you have a talent, that's why you need to be pursuing or like chasing for your talents, not to do something that actually is not natural for you. So what do you think about this like thing?
I think this does link quite closely to last week's topic, and I think it's that kind of optimistic or pessimistic view of things. I think I'm always going to believe that like anything is possible if you really want to, kind of. I think actually that's something that probably unfortunately you have to really train when you get older, because the world becomes a bit harsher, and you think, you know, you become a bit more realistic. So for example, if you tell me like, Claire, like my dream is to become an Olympic athlete, I might be like, well, you're 34, like that's great, maybe I don't know if that's going to happen for you,
which is true,
but I think why don't you channel that into like join like a running club or something like that.
Why you don't do an activity that is
because there are some things once again that, you know, are you going to become an Olympic athlete at 34?
Probably not.
Most likely not. Maybe, but maybe not. There are some limitations, I think, which are kind of about being realistic. But if you tell me, like, I want to quit my job and I want to go work at Jacquemus, I'll be like, absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
You can definitely get that. Let's get some contacts in. Like, let's think about how you can get there. Like, maybe you, like, move to France or something like that, and it's like, yes, plan it.
Like, I like,
but you know what I mean? Like, I think that there are some things which are completely hard to get, but doable.
I like what exactly, and I like what you say about like, and I think like in the episode, Queen Harvey was also like talking about this, like in a way, like maybe you won't become an Olympic person,
athlete,
like Olympic athlete, but you can do something within that space that can make you feel connected to that, so you can start running every day, you can challenge yourself.
Yeah.
You can start seeing like what other athletes they do
Yeah.
to get in shape, and you can try to do that. So you
Exactly.
can still like pursue what you want in a different shape.
Completely. Or maybe
You don't need to
you
limit
take that
yourself.
and you go
Yeah.
and do CrossFit. You can do that at any age.
Yeah.
So I
Exactly.
think that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's about that kind of flexibility.
Yeah.
And I think what you want from, if we keep on going with this Olympic
Yeah.
athlete example, you
Yeah.
want to be challenged to like
Challenged,
put
yeah.
yourself in the best shape as
For
possible,
example,
and you can
yeah.
completely get that. I think the first thing when you told me in the week about this, I think something that I've always had a big insecurity on is maths and numbers,
Interesting, yeah.
because I think I was always better at the creative side, like, or English or like languages and like art and like whatever, and I was okay, like I did okay at maths at school, but it was a struggle for me because my brain just isn't really wired for numbers. And I can get quite a lot of anxiety when if someone's like telling me to do a sum, I can get like a lot of anxiety because that's just something I carry from like school and whatever.
Exactly.
I think I know, and that's the beauty of age. You know what you're really good at. I do actually challenge myself quite a lot with, because I think I notice actually with this that I always think, oh, I won't be able to work it out. Like, I'll leave it for like my boyfriend, for example, not because he's my boyfriend and a man, just because he's really good with numbers. But then I think, no, because that's actually a limiting belief. And I'd be like, no, actually, you can do it. You actually can do it. What I just need is space and a bit of quiet time. I can't work with numbers in a rush.
Yeah, basically.
Whereas I can edit pictures in a rush or something, or listening to music. I have to be, just because it's harder for me with numbers. So I think that is something that I have inside myself, that I assume I'm always going to struggle a bit with numbers.
Made me think about a lot of education as well, and how the systems of education, all of that, also limit us so much.
So true.
Because since you're a kid, it's like, oh no, you're good at this, you're good at that, or you need to choose this, you choose that, and you don't have the freedom to just do.
Yeah.
And I think we carry that in life overall for everything, like in different things that we do. We always had like, oh, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, or kind of like, if you are artistic, then you're good at you're bad at numbers and things like that, which is not necessarily, but already like that's been told to you, being told to you since you were a kid, or like since you're growing, so you're already having that, you know, like, oh, if you like numbers, you're the nerd.
Exactly.
So I don't want to be the nerd, so I don't want to like numbers. So, you know, all those like limiting beliefs since we are born, basically.
Definitely.
So that's very weird.
I think it's that thing of kind of labeling. We need to label kids like really young, which isn't ideal. And I think on the flip side of that, I think something that always kind of annoys me a little bit is when people say, I'm not creative.
Yeah.
That really bothers me, because I think everybody is creative.
That's nature,
you're creative in a different way, or you might not be good at drawing or taking pictures.
But there's something else.
But you are creative in some way. And I think that really I don't know. It's a funny one.
A month ago or something, I was having a conversation with my manager, and he was bringing this topic of, we were talking about like talent. He said something that really made me think. He was saying like, oh, well, I don't believe people are talented. That's not a thing. I don't think you are good or bad or something because you have a talent.
Wow.
So he's from his perspective, like that, like, oh, you're born with a talent is not a real thing most of times. It's something you are talented if you manage to work hard enough in what you like to become good at it. So I think that's very like pragmatic way of saying it, but make me think as well, like, that's kind of connected to not having limiting beliefs, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, no, I'm not a good guitar player because I have a talent. No, I'm a good guitar player because I liked a guitar and I went for it and I'm working really hard. So that made me think about that
it's
as
true,
well.
but what made you go for the guitar? That's the thing. Like, I completely agree, and I think it's really like, it's kind of like a really like disheartening thing when people say like, oh, you're just really talented, but it's like, well, also you need to work. Like, imagine if someone's like, you're just a talented photographer, which you are talented, yes, and that's probably natural, but you also take the pictures, you think about the picture, you then import it to your computer, you then edit,
you try to improve your skills. So that's about the talent as well.
So it's kind of like, but there was something that made you pick up a camera in the first place and not like, start working on coding or something like that. Yeah. So I think it's kind of like a different mix of things.
Yeah. Do you feel when you see someone having like limiting beliefs, do you feel like stress or you feel like anger? Because I do.
Yeah,
stresses me out a lot.
Interesting.
I really hate when people say things that I cannot do that.
Why? Why do you think that
I don't
is?
know. It's kind of like
Therapy
hours, like radical optimism. And it's not funny because I don't think I can do everything, and I don't want to do everything. There's things I really don't want to do. But it's kind of like, I don't know if it's a Sagittarius thing, like feeling like, oh, you think I'm not going to do it? I will do it. I will become, I don't know, like a brain, like doctor, and I'm going to save everyone. Doesn't know really, but you know what I mean? Like, it really stressed me out when people, they closed up themselves believing that they cannot do it. And it's like, but where's that coming from? Like, did you try again? Did you try first? If you try, it didn't work. Okay, that's good enough. You don't need to try 10 times. Not everyone needs to do it. Some people, they try once, they failed, they don't need to do it again. I understand that as well. Not everyone needs to like do it a million times, but it really like, I feel, and that's why this topic really connect when I listen to the podcast, because again, like Queen Harvey, she's obviously a super like non-limiting beliefs person, that she, whatever she wants to do, she does it. Totally. So I think I find that really inspiring. Like people that they are feeling like so free and open to whatever crosses their mind, and they want to explore it and see if it works for them. They go for it. I find that really inspiring. And when it's the contrary, for me, it's like frustrating. I kind of with the frustration.
I think that this topic, there's also another thing about this, which is like fear of failure, which you kind of touched on earlier. But I think I definitely know that when I have friends who are like, oh, I can't do it or whatever. I think again, it's a personality thing, because I definitely think like, well, what's the worst that can happen? You can just like leave. Good question. We're adults, like we can walk out of something, you know, we can leave like we can leave a date if we want to. We can, you know, we can quit a job, like whatever, like I think I always have that attitude as well. It's sort of like, yes, I'm afraid to do things as well, to put myself out there, but I think I'm also, this is such a cliche, but I'm so afraid of staying stuck. And that's, I think, one thing that really motivates me, because I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to be the same person in December than I was last December. True. That scares me a lot.
It's good that you bring that up of like small things as well, because this is not only about like a career or like a life-changing situation. It can be small things like a date or something like daily life. In your daily life, you can have limiting beliefs every day of your life. You can have things that you don't even realize that are affecting and impacting the way you live in your life without even seeing it. And that made me think like random stuff that makes maybe are my limiting beliefs. And then I was thinking like, for example, this is very random, but I was thinking about this while researching for the topic. I was like, what would be my limiting beliefs or something really like daily thing? And I always say this, and then I'm like, maybe I should challenge myself. This is very like, let's say like not something as deep. I was thinking like, oh, I won't ever be able to go to the gym 5 times a week. That's so much. And I feel like, no, I won't be able to do that.
Interesting.
And I was thinking like, why I won't be able to do it?
I could definitely see you doing that, because you go like 3 times.
I go 3. I think 3, that's what my maximum. That's my maximum to go to the gym. Because, and I'm starting to think, is that because my limiting beliefs that I don't go more? Because I always think like, oh no, 5's too much. I cannot do it. And it's like, but why?
But is that because you don't want to, or?
Yeah, but why I don't want to? Is I don't want to because why? So I'm limiting myself to try to do something maybe more that will be beneficial for myself, because I just plain believe that I cannot do it.
I have an example of this. Like I think that, for example, with like salaries and like earning money, I have like a certain number in mind that I think is like the pinnacle for my career and what I think I will earn. Yeah. And that I will not earn any more than that number. And it is what it is. Interesting. But then I have had like experiences where I've had opportunities that show me that actually it's possible to earn even more. And I was gobsmacked. Like, wow, so the number that I have in mind that is like, you know, I will get that number when I'm like 45. Actually, no, like there are opportunities there that are available that are even more.
That's your limited beliefs.
And that's, like, and it's like, that's quite interesting.
Yeah, because it was limiting you a bit, thinking like, oh, I won't be able to reach that. I mean, sometimes you need to be realistic as well. It's not about not being realistic, but it's about like what things you do to limiting like your growing or you blossoming.
And it's like, why do we, I think once again, to go back to therapy, I think that's something that's really useful, because I was sort of like unpacking that with my therapist and being like, why do I have this number in mind, and why do I think that I'm not worthy
Worthy.
of getting more. Do you think, sorry, this is going on a bit of a tangent, but do you think there's something about like creative people and like worthiness and like money a little bit?
That's a bit of that, yeah. I think it's a bit of that because I guess, I think, especially our generation and maybe the one before even more, like being a creative is a lot of times not a real job. It's not a real career. It's something like, what's your real job? Are you going to be a lawyer or something? It's like, well, we all know, I mean, we have a lot of lawyers in this planet. We don't need more lawyers.
True.
You know what I mean?
True,
like we can have other type of people as well around. So maybe that's where it comes. That kind of like sense of like not self-worth, like you're not as worth it because you don't have a job or a career that's actually meaningful for society.
I actually have a story about that from school. I'm
Really?
certain this teacher won't be watching, but I think that's the thing. I think sometimes people don't do things to be horrible. I think they just think that they're doing the best for you.
Yeah.
And I had the option to go to kind of more of like down an academic path and go to more academic uni. But what I really wanted to do was go to drama school. And she like completely persuaded me and pushed me to go to university and get like
That's crazy,
proper degree. Not that going to drama school isn't a proper degree, but to get like a BA and like something a bit more like scientific or like whatever. It's humanities. I did sociology. So, and that's what I did. And the minute I finished my BA, what did I do? I went to drama school.
Obviously.
So it just delayed it by 3 years, which is fine. And I'm glad that I had that degree and all of that. But it's sort of, and I think that came from that place of like, please don't go down a creative path. Please don't try to be an actor because it won't work out, which is what happened. But I will never change that for anything. Did you ever doubt your ability or chances to make money out of your creativity?
That's a really good point. I do think that like if I cannot take photos, I'm like, what can I do to make money if it's not doing something creative, right? That's what you were asking.
No, I mean, I guess you kind of answered my question, but I mean, did you ever doubt that you could make money from your art, basically?
Not my art. Not really.
That's really good because I think a lot of people might not.
I'm always being like, I know I can make money. And I think I'm very stubborn in that way for the good or for the bad. And I'm like, no, like...
Fudgy again, though.
Again, yeah. It's kind of like, I know I can money out of this because it's what I want. I don't need to maybe like become something that I don't want to just because of the money. I think it's not an option for me.
Yeah.
Being negative is normal. Having negative thoughts and limiting yourself is normal. It's human, right? The thing about this is kind of like figure out what's behind the thought of it. It's like if you're feeling like I cannot do it, it's not just to live with the I cannot do it and just walk away. It's just like the why I cannot do it. Like kind of like as everything, right? Like dig a bit deeper in yourself. Like why I think I'm not able to do this thing, right? So there's some things that you can think or like reflect on when this happens. Things like, is this self-limiting belief based on assumption that I have made already and maybe it's not true? That's a way to say like, is it true or not? Where is this coming from? Is it an assumption of myself? Maybe find the reasons why this is untrue. Like find the reason why this is not true. Like this, like I cannot do it. Like find why this is not actually like a fact.
Yeah,
you know,
like prove it to yourself.
Prove it to yourself. Like why I'm thinking this, why, and twist it as well. Like, no, this is not like that because, and you can see it from the other way.
That's
so I think
really cool.
that's really interesting. And it's about like reframing that we were talking in a previous episode as well. Like reframing, like it's connected to being positive as well, because it's kind of like change your thoughts and like, because again, if you're limiting yourself, it's because you're being a bit negative or pessimistic. So it's gonna reframe the way you think and like question why I do really feel I cannot do this, for example. So there's some like things like get like a reality testing, they would call reality testing. Is like ask yourself why you're doing it. It's just my interpretation. It's factual. I'm just jumping to conclusions. Or it's actually, if it actually is, fine. If you say like, oh no, I cannot do this. I cannot be an astronaut because I'm not that brilliant on something you need to be for that. And I don't think I can get to this point. That's fine. You're like fact checking yourself. Okay. That's good, but that's part of the process.
Interesting.
Also, like look for alternative explanations. Like there's not different ways that I could look at this situation. Why I'm framing myself here that I cannot do this or I'm not good at this. There's also putting things in perspective, like what's the worst thing that could happen? What you say if I do it? How would that look like? What the best thing that could happen with it? If I, for example, I say I want to be a hairdresser. I don't think I'm talented with hair, but if I try, what's the best thing that could happen? I can do like really nice hair.
Exactly.
What's the worst thing? Well, 1 or 2 people, they're gonna have horrible hair for a few months.
And you maybe wasted like a bit of money or something, but it's like it's not that deep, you know. Actually, I feel like that could be quite a good exercise. I think I want to do this. Maybe I'll do this on the plane to Japan.
Oh,
I feel like I'd like to make a list of like
aesthetics.
I think I'd like to make a list of like limiting beliefs I have about myself.
Oh, I will do that as well.
Do it on the plane to Venezuela.
Yeah. Oh, that would be cool.
Like, do it. And then I feel like challenging that, because that's like, it's like, why do we do we have these and understanding? And I think
if it's self-imposed, if you didn't impose it to yourself,
and
because I think sometimes we have all these beliefs and we don't know where they come from.
Totally,
we just have them, and that's the problem.
And I think that's a good thing about therapy. It's sort of like when you understand where it came from, then you can like soften it.
Let's definitely, like, when we come back for the new season, let's share this list.
Oh my god, how exciting!
So we can we'll do it. So you'll do your list, I'll do my list.
I can tell.
I'm gonna put a reminder.
Okay, I'm gonna write a reminder as well
to like doing it, so we can just come back and share our list of limiting beliefs. I
love that,
because I think that's a really interesting exercise.
I think this is like such a positive way to end the mid-season.
Yes,
and we can start the next season with the next half of the season with our list.
Can't wait.
How
can't
fun.
wait. So thank you very much to share your thoughts with me, love.
No, thank you, love.
And can't wait for this break, because I think it's good for no because it's like this being a lot and fuck her and fuck this. No, I think it's good to have this trip in the middle. I think we're gonna be like back with so many cool topics and thoughts and things.
Yeah.
So
and please, as always, please give us your feedback. We really do take the feedback on board.
Honest feedback, please.
Yeah, definitely. And see you in a few weeks.
See you in a few weeks, guys. Thank you very much. See ya.
Bye.